There is no denying that games about superheroes are not the pinnacle of gaming. Most games, at least in the past, were the pointless cash grabs trying to capitalize the love of these movie or comic book heroes. But to be fair, more or less recently, things started to change. With the release of Batman Arkham series, the hope has ignited. And after that, it was followed by Marvel's Spiderman, and yep, now we were on. But then Marvel screwed up big time by releasing Marvel's Avengers. The game that by every means was, well, bad and literally trying to be a pointless cash grab. At that moment for me, Marvel games just died, and all I was expecting just the Marvel Spider-Man 2. And eventually, of course, Wolverine as well. But one game showed itself so well that it became maybe even my favorite Marvel game alongside Spider-Man. It was so good that I was shocked that this game was not marketed everywhere. The story was amazing, it was fun, it was interesting, it was engaging. It was not perfect, but those imperfect things could be overlooked. Yet, it just felt like it just went under the radar and into obscurity, just like it never existed. And if you have never played it, you are making a huge mistake, especially if you are a Marvel fan. And we're talking about Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The game that was swept under the rug for some reasons. And with the recent release of Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I decided to revisit this game just to see whether it actually was that good or not. And yes, it was that good. And if you haven't played it, you need to play it right now, especially when it's on sales, because yeah, it's an absolute steal for the cheap prices. But let me just explain what this game is and what it does. Well, first things first, this is not a Marvel movie tie-in, it's the separate game. And it's kind of like a middle ground between comics and the movies. And despite not being connected to the movies, you will feel like that these are pretty much the same characters. And in this game you're playing as a Star-Lord, and well, Guardians are more or less a new team, and each of them have quite a big emotional baggage behind them, because all of those team members are broken mentally. You're playing as a Star-Lord, and let me just talk about the one thing that I didn't like about this game. And to be fair, I understand it now more, and to be fair, I like it now more. And it is, well, the gameplay itself. Because at first you must think that this game is actually a third-person shooter because you're playing as a Star-Lord, but in reality it's technically not. Because if you're gonna look at this as a tactical action game where you need to control other characters as much as you need to control your own, well, the game suddenly becomes a bit more bearable gameplay-wise and combat-wise. Because yes, you are controlling only Star-Lord, but you're also controlling the actions and giving the commands to all the other team members. And this way you can crowd control and, well, deal more damage to your enemies, and making the combat quite a spectacle. It's not a huge fun, but it's serviceable. But where the game actually blew me away was in its story. And well, when this game has a great story and writing. I was shocked how good this game is. I expected absolutely nothing. I expected just a cash grab, but this was an insane and amazing and original story. And if you think that just because you're playing as a Star-Lord, the Star-Lord is a main character in this game, well, he's not. Well, he is, but he is the main character as every single one of the other Guardians as well, because every single one of them are fleshed out insanely well. The dialogue is constant. You're meeting and interacting with other Guardians, and you see how their relationships are fruiting and how they're changing and developing throughout the game. None of the characters are bland. Even Groot is not bland by saying just I am Groot. You see throughout the entire game how each and every character see not just themselves but each other, and how they're treating each other, and how they're actually learning to respect and love and care for each other. You see in the beginning how they constantly bicker and fight with each other, but by the end of the game they are becoming the one single family, because each of them help everyone to, well, deal with their pains and insecurities. And well, they deal with those pains and insecurities because this game is all about those pains and insecurities. And at first when I thought about this, making this kind of like a mental issues game, but it is done so well. It is done so well. It shows all the people's and the characters' weaknesses and how they're not that good at dealing with them, and how they can actually learn how to deal with them. I was shocked that this actually works in a Guardians of the Galaxy game. And if you think that characters is the only thing that is carrying this game, well, you will be wrong, because the story itself itself is good as well. You have so many twists and turns, and seeing like this team of misfits not understanding half bit what the hell they're doing and just moving from one place to another just to see how they can actually solve the issues or run away from it is simply fantastic. I loved it. And you're going through so many things throughout the entire game that it just glues you to the screen and not allowing you to drop your keyboard or mouse or controller. And of course, there's one more thing. The humor. Game is actually funny. And not just cringe humor, but actual real funny. If you think that Guardians of the Galaxy movies are funny, this is even more fun than that. And the first few moments of introducing every single character as the criminals and then how they introduce Star-Lord is simply hilarious. And I loved it. Star-Lord is the same non-serious, well, man baby who had no time to grow up, and he nails it. And every single other character nailed it as well. If you think that Drax was funny in the movies, well, you're gonna love him even more here. All of those small things just add up so much that it transforms this game into an absolute must-play Marvel game. Yes, the combat is not the best part of it, and probably combat is the only thing that will stop you from replaying this game over and over. And by the way, you do have a branching paths in the game, and you have an ability to actually choose different, well, decisions in the game. You will still most likely not replay this because, yeah, combat is serviceable. It's good, it's okay, it's fun, but just to progress the story. That's it. So my advice is just go and get this game, play this game, enjoy it, because this game deserves your attention. Because otherwise all the limelight and, well, and bad attention will go to Marvel's Avengers. And yeah, you don't want this. Even though that game will just die very soon. Don't let this game die as well. It's a single player with no multiplayer, no microtransactions, and it is amazing. What else do you want? You are always asking for the games like that. You got one. So go and play it right now. Our YouTube memberships are up and running. And if you like videos done by me, and if you like the reviews that I put out and everything else as well, consider hitting the join button near the subscribe button under this video. This might not be a lot for you, at least for some of you, but it will be tremendous help for me keeping this channel going. Well, this will be for today. Thank you for being here with me. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more videos like this one, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. See ya.